All right, we are now live. This session is under recording. So when you ask your question, ask a question that will benefit those who are not live here in this session. So once again, our discussion is just going to, at the moment, be anchored on the work permit. Then during the question time, you can just expand on any other thing that concerns you or that is disturbing your mind or you've heard from someone. And if I have information about it, I'll answer. If I don't have, you will give me time to research and then get back to us. So work permit, like we all know, is a legalization for any foreigner to work in a country. And so every country has a matter of a global standard and practice. If you move from your own country or from one country to another for you to work, after getting a job, it is required that you have a work permit to work in that country. When I started hearing of work permit was when I was in Nigeria. I used to work with some contractors that work with Shell Petroleum Development Company. So when we go to the field, without a work permit signed by the Shell rep, you cannot do any work on whether the pipeline or the flow station, anything. There must be a work permit signed by the Shell rep. So sometimes we will stay in the site and sit for hours without doing any job because we are waiting for a work permit, because that is what is giving you the authorization to carry out that specific job you want to do. And so that is the global practice. So it is for countries to issue any foreigner a work permit to work in their country. And so at the moment, since June 2021, there was a closed door restriction, though not very vocal, concerning work permit ban, okay, or restriction in the United Arab Emirates for Nigerians that are coming in here to have a job. Because here we are doctors and nurses, so let me just limit our discussion to our area. Luckily for us, when it started, we fall into category 1, 2, and 3. And so they were giving work permits to doctors and nurses, especially when the coronavirus was still rampaging and these workers were needed. People that were really suffering were housemaids, receptionists, security, and all of these other jobs. They were the ones that were getting the bite when the ban started. So Nigerians were managing until it got to a level that the information went round the country that labor is not issuing work permits to Nigerians. So that at that point, most of the HROs of facilities started capitalizing on the information they had that work permits, you can get your work visa, okay, but the permit to work will not be issued. Some persons were getting visa, they will get residence, but they will not get, labor will not give them permit to work. So at that aspect, without the work permit, you cannot go further to having to do your medicals and having Emirates ID or the identification card to stay in the country. So it has lingered from that 2021 June. We were thinking that within a month, 2 or 3, it will be handled. And people started raising alarm to the Nigerian embassy here, and they were reluctant and very slow in stepping in to curb this matter. And so because the ordinary person like me will not go to UAE government to discuss this kind of thing with them. So the representative of Nigerians, which are the embassy house, the ambassador, and the diplomats that are here, that is their sole responsibility. But unfortunately, I think they didn't start handling this issue in time. I will not be here to give you reasons. I don't know the reasons. Whatever you have heard is you've heard on your own, if at all you've heard something, and whatever is the reason they gave to our embassy here as to why they are giving us the ban, that is not my responsibility to share, but it's just to let you know, those who are concerned, that they heard that they are not giving Nigerians work permit. That is what I am addressing under my platform, MedScare Services. Because a lot of us here want to do the licensing process, start our data flow, then take the exams, and then move into the UAE to secure a job and better your life. But now you are hearing one or two things, and that is what is making you to slow down or trying to even give up on starting the process. So I have to address it based on my level of operation, not to go in depth into telling you or giving us the reasons why, because I don't know actually. So we were thinking it will stop within 3 to 5 months, but it lingered until June of this year, made it 1 year. But like I said yesterday, this is not also to say that Nigerians are not getting jobs in the UAE. At the moment as we speak, people are still getting job offers. People are still getting the work permit. But when the problem started, I don't know those who understand trade. I don't know if anybody here is into trade, that you understand what a free zone is. A free zone, every country, every state has a free zone area where you do business on your own. You are given the license to operate freely. And so every company that registers its company as a free zone has the right to hire people directly without passing through labor. I don't know if we get what I'm saying. Those companies that fall in that category have been giving Nigerians jobs. Now, the government also, like since we are all in the medical field, government hospitals in the UAE, especially Abu Dhabi, Dubai, they are giving Nigerian jobs and they are getting work permit. Some semi-government hospitals, medical centers, and home cares are still hiring Nigerians as we speak, and they are also giving them work permit. So we have free zone, we have government and semi-government facilities. The areas, like I stated clearly yesterday, that Nigerians are finding it difficult to get are private facilities, private hospitals. So that if anybody is telling you that absolutely Nigerians are not getting job at the moment in the UAE, well, don't go debating with anybody, but just have this at the back of your mind. Okay, so that we don't start demonizing the country, then you disturb. If you're destined to come to this country and work in this country, you will use this to becloud your mindset towards the country, and you will stop the process. And if one thing we know in life is, if you're not destined to go to the US, to work in the US, no matter how, I'm a living witness here, or example, if you are not destined to go to the US, no matter how you struggle to go to the US, you will not go if God is not sanctioning it. Okay, what if you're destined to come and your life will be bettered, or you have a better life by being in the UAE? That is what is written in your destiny, that you will move from Nigeria to the UAE to work as a doctor, as a nurse, as a pharmacist, lab technician, or scientist. And then because you've heard this, you will now shut the doors and say, okay, I want to go to UK. Then you start battling going to UK, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. You're still battling to go to. Whereas, if you make a move for the UAE, it would have been open for you just within 6 months. So, actually, at the moment, yes, there is work permit issue. But like I said, now, you might not know an hospital that is under the free zone But you can know a government hospital because they have how they operate. And people, it is clearly, and it is everywhere that we know, like in Abu Dhabi, we have all the government hospital under SEHA. I think in Dubai, all the government hospital is under Department of Health, Abu Dhabi. Dubai, sorry. The Dubai Health Authority. They are the one managing all the government hospitals in Dubai. So when you, let's say you do your process, you take your exams, and you pass. Within this time that it is like this, and you're submitting your CV to government hospitals and hospitals within the free zone, you can do that by asking out or randomly just be sending your CVs. And perhaps a government or a free zone hospital that needs your services will certainly call you and conduct an interview with you. Then you will start working. But if you so close your eyes and say, they said work permit is not going in the UAE, therefore I am not doing again, or I have started my process, I want to withdraw, then you're shutting doors for yourself. That is my candid advice from Medcare Services. Then also think of it in this way. Okay, the process is not a one-off process that if you start today, tomorrow it is completed, you pass your exams and you get a job. No, no, no. An average process for nurses will take about 3 months for Nursing Council to respond and for us to get a positive data flow for you. Then after that stage, we need to go into the credentialing. The credentialing doesn't take time. We can do that. You can get credential within 2 weeks and get approval for your exams maybe the 3rd week. And you can book your exams that same 3rd week or that same day you got the approval. And based on availability of exam dates, then you take your exams. So let's say for a nurse, we can say 3 to 4 months is the window process for all the process verification, credentialing, and exam approval. Depend on your preparedness for you to take the exams. So let's say if the government is still doing something about it, who knows if after 2 months or 3 months to come, the issue will be clear so that even private hospitals, they will hire Nigerians freely. Take this into consideration. Also take the other point I was raising, that there are government facilities, there are free zone hospitals that are hiring Nigerians. I have candidates. Sometimes you cannot pull them here to come and give a testimony of the fact that within this period they've gotten jobs. Okay? So that is my advice on that. Like I said, whatever rumor you're hearing, Dr. Dosumu and Joseph, you started the process. You asked me, does it mean if you finish the process, you will not get a job? I cannot tell you that you will not get a job. Never. Continue your process. I think your data flow, education, and experience, I think is done. What is remaining is, I think, Nursing Council. So once it comes out and it's positive, you need to take your exams. We need to put you through the credentialing. You take your exams. When you pass, you're still in Nigeria doing something.
I have my own eligibility letter. I have eligibility letter already. Yeah.
Okay, you have eligibility letter as we speak. Okay, good, good.
I have eligibility letter. I just got it in September.
Okay, well, we'll come to that. So what I'm saying now is that I'm talking to Stephen. Okay, Stephen, you sent me a message on WhatsApp. Okay, yeah. You asked me, does it mean that when you finish your process, you will not get a job? And I'm answering you now. It doesn't mean you will not get a job, even if you take your exams today. I can't be so satanic to telling you that you will not get a job. But my advice is, in case the process completes today and you take your exams and you pass, I will not tell you to start flying to the UAE. No. Continue with the job you're doing in Nigeria. Then be applying online through Indeed and other platforms. When the coast is clear and is very, very clear, then you can now talk of coming into the country. As we speak, there are so many working interviews that they are inviting, okay, come, this and that, you know. So for you, you've started, you have to complete the process. I believe by the time you complete, maybe the coast will be clear. Even if it is not clear, like I said, free zone hospitals are employing, not only hospital, medical centers and home care centers. Then we also have the government hospitals. I think 2 months ago, they were looking for practical nurses, which is your category. Everywhere, government hospitals. Looking, so if you were ready that time, by now you'll be working in the government hospital with good salary. So, like I am saying, and I have said again and again, this is not time to say because of work permit, I am going, like you, the doctor, you've gotten eligibility. It's not time for you to tear your eligibility and start feeling so bad back home. Imagine the whole money I have spent. Now I heard there's no jobs for Nigerians in the UAE. No. I know of a doctor that came to Abu Dhabi for 3 months. He was looking for a job he didn't get. He went back to Nigeria and he told, are you the one that gave me that story? I think. So
Yeah, I'm the one that give you the story. Yeah.
Okay, so your name and that doctor's name is not the same. Your own situation too is you are in Nigeria at the moment. So keep asking, keep searching for the information, keep submitting your CVs. The truth is that for nurses, there are job opportunities more than doctors. I will tell you the truth. And that globally it is like that. Even in Nigeria, the demand for nurses is more than that of doctors. Because we know now the ratio to a doctor to nurses, patient, and that of nurses to patient there is a wide gap. So a facility can employ 25 doctors in their different areas, let's say 5 GP and 20 specialists and consultants in different, and man a very big facility, and they will manage that facility very well. But they will need maybe 1,000 nurses to run a very good, or more, to run a very big facility. Because the nurses are always there with the patient, they cover almost 24 hours, they're all there. One will go, another will come, just like that. Perhaps one doctor can run 3 departments, while one nurse cannot do that. So the facilities are putting all of this into consideration. And so the demand for doctors and that of nurses is not in any way equal. Okay, so that answers the demand aspect. But that is not also to say every day, if you can just register yourself LinkedIn and set your profile for UAE jobs. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn. You'll also be seen. Even on Indeed, you will be seen. Filter, do your this thing, your registration to be getting UAE GP jobs. You will be receiving. The problem we are having in this country, I must be crystal clear to all of you, is that we are not many here. We have so many Filipinos, we have so many Indians as administrators of hospitals, HROs, and nursing directors. So they will concentrate in employing their people more than employing Africans or Nigerians. So that is the element of human in every. Of course, if I am in an organization, I will think of my people first. So in a situation where 50 Filipinos submit CV for a nursing position and 1 Nigerian submits, or 2, that natural instinct in them will make them consider their people first. We are facing that. I will not. Even if you go to Saudi, it's there. You go to Qatar, it's there. It's only places like UK that they need so many that they are not really looking. Even at that, some hiring facilities in the UK are also concentrating in the Asian countries than African countries. So all of these are there. So let me not burn your data. I am using Wi-Fi, so I can talk from now to tomorrow morning without feeling bad. But you are listening to me with your MTN and Glow data, so that it will not be consumed. I want to throw it open for questions at this moment. I believe, okay, even at this moment, like I said in my recorded thing yesterday, Saudi Arabia is very open for both doctors and nurses. It's very, very open now. So if you feel here will delay a little, it's the same process. Data flow, credentialing, prometric exams. So you are not in any way losing if you've done this one and you feel what we need to do is just to transfer your reports to any of these side and you take the exams and kalas. You can get a job in Saudi very well. There is no work permit issue in Saudi for now. So, Joseph, I don't know if I addressed your concern, Doctor.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Doc, did I address your own concern? You said you have.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Okay.
About, you talk about this last part you mentioned about transfer of data flow. Yes, to maybe to Saudi. Assuming these Middle East countries, they can make prometrics like a single exam rather than you writing prometrics Oman, prometrics DHE prometrics for SLE, start writing prometrics, and the only thing you just do for data flow, just to transfer your data flow to those countries. Okay, that prometrics part makes it maybe kind of cumbersome. That's one part. The other part is that I heard that for you to work as in a government hospital, you need to have worked in a private hospital maybe for 2 years, like that, before you can work in government hospital. That you can't just come directly as an with eligibility letter and work in government hospital. I don't know how true it is. I just want to confirm that.
That is for which the question is for which country, please?
For UAE, for UAE.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Sometimes it's like that. I need to power this phone. Running out of battery. If you can get a direct government job, is a yes or no. Okay. One can get direct government job and sometimes also no. It takes your UAE experience before you can get a government job. So, to answer you, Dr. MD, getting a government job, sometimes you can get it with your eligibility. Okay, that depends on the demand and the need, and if there are no experienced available doctors to fill that position, then you can be lucky. Or if there's a mass recruitment and there are no available personnel, doctor is out, I think his network, or is out of data. Okay, this response is a general concern, I believe. Yes, you can get a government job right from Nigeria if you're lucky and they are recruiting and you apply. At that moment, perhaps someone who has experience will earn a bigger salary than you that doesn't have the UAE experience. It can happen like that. So it is not a hard and fast rule that a beginner cannot work in a government hospital. Before now, back in the 2014, 15, 16, and 17, I think they were very keen on you moving from private to government. But of late, I am seeing them hiring, like Joseph, I mentioned the government hospital in some part of Abu Dhabi were recruiting practical nurses. I have a friend, a colleague
Okay,
that
sir.
moved from where I'm working to a government hospital direct, very fresh, from Ghana, without UAE experience. So sometimes it's like that, doctor. But if you're coming with the intention that you're coming and you must work in a government hospital, sometimes it will be difficult. You have to be open-minded. So if you're lucky, you get the government hospital. If they look for people with UAE experience they don't have, they will certainly recruit people without UAE experience. It depends on how you perform in your interview. You're able to convince them that you can do that job and you're good in your area as a GP or a specialist, you will be hired. Then you were talking of one exam for all the Gulf countries. The world has refused to be like that. When I came here too, I was complaining. I said, when I was struggling to get my UAE license, I was just asking a friend, why is it that I am a nurse in Nigeria, and if I come here, I must go through all of this? It is a standard. Even in the United States, every state of that United States has their own licensing board that regulates whatever standard of practice they are allowed to practice. Here in the UAE, we have three. We have DHA, we have DOH, we have MOH. Only one country. Three regulatory body with their own exam pattern and standard. So you can see how it is. It's unfortunate, but there is no universal standard for our exam that everybody must take that exam, and anywhere you go, you can work with it. I don't know why it's like that up till now. But we are reading malaria is malaria, the same symptoms all over the world, and perhaps the same treatment. Yet we cannot set questions for malaria and I pass that exam and go to US and practice the same and go to UAE and or go to UK and must. So it's unfortunate. Perhaps when you get to World Health Organization, you start putting up recommendations for the same exams. Doctor, did you get me?
I get you. I wanted to ask a question also regarding I can't remember now. Maybe
Okay, if you can remember, then just do a recall. Relax a little, you will remember. Eddie Olowo, how are you? It's been a while. Thank you for joining us. Abubakar Al-Hassan, do you have any question for us? Do you have any concern? Where are all those your friends you added in the group? Where are they?
You know, they are just new to the group. Maybe they are not aware despite the invitation I sent. Maybe they are still coming in the next session. Meanwhile, I want to ask, subscribe through your agency. Uh, so, who will guide me through this prometric exam? Does your agency has materials that I will be going through so that it will be easy for me to pass this exam? That
Okay, any other question?
this work permit that you are talking about, is it a employer that is responsible to get it for the employee? Is the employee that will struggle and get it? So I don't know how it is.
Okay,
If
that's your last.
it is, secondly, if it is that will get it by himself, can he apply it country or until he get there and get job? So
Okay, thanks for your question. Of course, the work permit, can you mute your mic? Okay, the work permit normally is to be issued to you by your employer through labor. the employer will apply to labor that I am employing Abubakar as a registered nurse. The contract is for 2 years. His salary is this. So I am applying for him to be issued a work permit. Work permit can only come when you sign an offer letter. Okay? Without any offer letter, you cannot get a work permit. So it is not your responsibility. It's not my responsibility. It is my employer that goes about that. The payment, the fee, the modalities to getting it. It is the PRO of the hospital or facility that is enshrined with that responsibility of getting me a work permit. So my own is just to accept the offer letter if I pass my interview, and they will go about every other thing. I am not spending a dime. You will not spend a dime. Okay, in this situation that Nigerians are, there are people that are getting visa for themselves. It is expensive. There are people who are getting what they call partnership visa. There are people who are getting free zone visa for themselves. That is in millions. If you get that kind of visa, then you are like a freelancer. You can work anywhere, leave the facility anytime, join another facility anytime. You can really negotiate your salary very well because you own your visa. And if you're going for a partnership visa or you're going for a freelance visa, it comes with certain papers that covers you to work, especially with what they call NOC, no objection certificate. It accompanies those kind of visas so that you can present it to your facility. That is what Nigerians are doing now in this difficult time that they are not getting. Some Nigerians that have the money are going for their personal visas. Okay? So that is to add to the question that Abubakar asked. Like now, if Joseph passes his exam and he's feeling as if it's taking too long for him to get a job, because some hospitals, they will do the interview. After that, they will say, we try to apply for your work. Unfortunately, we can't get a work permit for you. So we are sorry. We can't continue with you. And if Joseph has the money, he can go to apply for his own visa, get NOC. Then all these hospitals that cannot employ him previously will now start employing him because he has the legal documents on his own to work with them. When you're coming in with that kind of visa, there is kind of package you have that is better than the one they are bringing directly and doing their documentation for them. So it is money issue anyway, because it's not 100, it's not 200, it's not 300 to get those kind of visa, self visa. Okay.
The prometric exam materials.
Okay, prometric exam materials. What we've been doing over the period is we give out materials for nurses, general nurses. And the reason is this. Materials for general nursing is very easy to find in the internet, even print out. You can get them in every shop here in the UAE if you want to. Okay? But for practical nurses, we don't have any specific material. It's just that know your job responsibility as a practical nurse. There are job responsibilities like invasive procedures, medications you cannot give as a practical nurse. So in your exams, when you have that at the back of your mind, no matter how they twist the question, you should be able to filter out those job responsibilities in that question that has to do with a registered nurse and those ones that have to do with a practical nurse. Okay? Once you have that at the back of your mind, you will pass the exam as a practical nurse. That is for Mr. Joseph. For Abubakar, you must have your, like I said in one of my videos before, for you to be a registered nurse in this country, you must have your bachelor degree in nursing. It's not a compromise. The standard cannot be lowered. That is what they want, and they've been keeping to it. So that is it. For general nursing materials, yes, we can give. For A&E, I cannot. For theater nurses, I don't have those kind of materials. For doctors, it's just to prepare with This young man that has passed the exams, I think he knows what to use. I think
Of course, we have a group actually. So there are materials in the group. So if anyone want to do the exam, can join the group and receive material there. The
oh,
materials. Yeah.
okay, good. So if I have a doctor that is asking for material, I can recommend to you if you can add him in your group.
It
Or
depends on the specialty actually also. Most of us are GPs. Some of them want to do some of the doctors are maybe they want to go for ophthalmology, general surgeon, all those kind of. So those ones, their materials are kind of different. I've not come across the materials, but most
yeah,
of us on the group are GPs, just
yeah,
GPs.
yeah. The same thing with the nursing. The general nursing is easy to get materials, but those special areas are always difficult. So it's
Uh,
the same.
I also want to advise maybe for those that succeeded in the process or that are joining the process through your agencies. Since after they pass their exam, so they are on their own. It's like they are the one to look for the job offer. So why can't your agency assist? And since you have more experience there, be assisting those that succeeded in the process, so that at the end, when they got the job offer, then they can be paid a certain amount of money. I think that will be easier instead of them to stay longer than necessary while looking for the job, and at the end they could not see it on time. So this is just an advice. I don't know how it will.
Okay. I think you and me, we've been discussing privately a lot, and it would have been of great interest to me and benefit if uh, I can do that. Here in the UAE, I will always be using the UAE because this is where I am. I can't speak of other places where I am not. At the moment, uh, we are unable to get still the Nigerian factor to say you're going to register as a recruiting body or agency here to bring in Nigerians. There are so many things, I must tell you the truth, underneath that are militating against us to get to that level here. So, like I told you, I'm thinking of Saudi if I can break into that side, because that is where they are allowing for now. They are allowing Nigerians to bring Nigerian nurses directly into. But here in the UAE, almost all the recruiting companies are either from India or Philippines, and they bring Indians a lot into this country. They bring Filipinos a lot into this country, and that is why if you turn right, you see a Filipino. You turn left, front, back. They are littered everywhere. They have make up 100%. Okay, let me give Filipinos about 70%, 30% Indians as in workforce in this country. So when they come and they are eating, they are enjoying the fruit of the land, the next thing they will do is to start calling their relatives back in the Philippines. Pack your bags. I am doing visa for you to bring you into the UAE. When you come and stay for some time, you will certainly get a job. You will see them coming in droves. Okay, so they have tightened the environment to the level that I'm not saying is impossible, but almost, for us to penetrate into that aspect which you are requesting. Nonetheless, we are making effort asking around. If not that this period, the work permit issue is eating. So this is not the best time to even go and start discussing, I want to take up the responsibility, bring nurses for you from Nigeria. So if you bring, how will they get work permit? That is what the facility will ask you at the moment. So we are going to allow that only after all of this diplomatic row is over. Then we can start thinking of how we can get registered to do that. While we also pray, the lady I told you, I spoke with her, but it was turning to quarrel. She asked me a question and I refused to answer her. Now I'm coming to ask her same. So I decided to keep quiet at that point. So that is ourselves for ourselves. You know, I didn't know that far back what response I gave her. She kept it in mind and reminded me today. So you can see that that is how it is. So we'll try until we'll get.
And lastly, my advice to those that succeeded in the process, especially in the UAE, either the nurses or the GPs. So those that succeeded in the process and opportunity to have the job offer, I urge them or I want them to dedicate themselves. Let them show them that we know the work and we can do it. By doing the great job, by doing what is expected. So I believe they can give a recommendation to Nigerians and be giving them work. But by the time when they are employed and they begin to see those characters that people are saying around, or that we don't have good characters or we don't have good job experience, so they will continue neglecting other people that are coming. So I am using this medium to please beg those that on their jobs and those that are going also to those that are coming, so that they can at least. So that is my own advice.
Okay, that is a good one. Noted.
Uh,
Uh,
okay.
Dr.
Hello.
Duflo, you
Yeah.
heard him.
Yeah, I had him. That's a good advice. You know, I've since I got my eligibility letter, I've been on LinkedIn, Indeed, Golf Talent, so many of these UAE I have them. So I've been applying, but when I see their what they want, they kind of, like you said, they want Indians, they want maybe the Filipinos. They kind of ask you, okay, we want 2 years UAE experience. They are very mean on. They say that, okay, uh, 2 years or 3 years UAE experience, or they might even if they don't even disqualify you, they will just say that, okay, uh, we don't want eligibility, we want license, because another thing that maybe some of them, they don't want to spend on getting people with eligibility, because they know that they have to register them and
Yeah,
cost to register. So they will prefer those with license, because it's cheap. You already have your license. I spoke one time with an agent like that. That, okay, look, okay, I want to get I have the eligibility. Is it possible to convert to license? He said yes. And when he made the cost, I was like, about 2 to 3 million. I was like, what? For me to get the license? I was like, no, 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 no. As in, that's much. And I know that you are even sure of getting a job. So what I was like, so they prefer those with license rather than you getting those with eligibility. So it's very difficult. The market is so tight. So I don't know, when you mentioned about free zones, the government hospital, I was like, wow, I didn't know about that. If I have knowledge about that, maybe I will also search, or maybe have a kind of maybe a way to search for that. You have list of those hospitals that are government. I know some government hospitals here, but they don't just advertise. I've not seen their advertisement.
yeah.
Some things are just coded done, unless you go there directly. So, but that stuff about the news I heard about, you can't get job with a visa directly unless you have worked maybe for 2 years. So that make my mind from government hospitals actually. So that's really moved my mind. Eh?
Okay. Well spoken. That means you're beginning to have the practical experience of what is happening here. The job market here, frankly speaking, is tight at the moment. And the issue of me wanting my own, there is a language that is very common here in the UAE. They call it Kabayan. Kabayan is a Filipino, my brother. It's a Philippine language, Kabayan. That Kabayanism is a very, I don't want to use the arrow word on things that I will post on the net. If not, I will say it's very high in this country, but you would think it's not there. So the Kabayanism factor in this country is very, very high. A Filipino wants to work by a Filipino, doesn't want to work by any other person. And there are so many here. The Indians are a bit freer somehow, but it's worse off with the Filipinos, who they think when they turn right, they want to see another Filipino, they look left and front and back, it should be. So even if you're walking around the environment, you need to be very careful, or they will do any and everything to see that you're out of the job. It is like that. So that is why some job adverts, they will clearly only Filipino. Some will say Kerala. Some will say Indian nationality only. Then others, they will say all nationality. It is only those jobs that they are putting all nationality that you can apply, because if you see clearly where they are looking for a Filipino and you apply, nobody will call you. It is like that. This is not to put fear in your mind. The truth is that if you finish your school, an average doctor, I don't know, a nurse today can stay, especially in the Port Harcourt region where I come from, River State. You can, if you're not careful, you can stay in the house for almost half a year or more before you can get a job, because now the government is not directly employing or absorbing nurses in River State. So you have to start looking for private hospitals to work with. So it takes time to get a job. So if you have the money, I would still advise that if you can stay 5 months in Nigeria searching for a job, why not use that 5 months and search for a job here in the UAE? Because when you get it in one time, you will forget about all of the pains. That is the truth. So at the moment it's tight, like you said. They are considering their own. They want to hire only Filipinos. They want to hire only Indians. But we are also making our breakthrough here. We are trying, squeezing ourselves in the labor market, the job market, and we are getting job after some time. The only problem I will acknowledge at the moment is that work permit issue. Otherwise, for nurses, no. No matter how, by the time you throw your application, 1 month, 2 months, there is no way you will not get a job. You will certainly get a job. And what is the other aspect? Yeah, the licensing aspect. Frankly speaking, for doctors is very expensive. And so that is one of the things why they need more nurses. Nurses to pay for, you can actually pay for your license. And now what I advise so many nurses, because of DHA eligibility is so rampant. So many persons have written DHA exams and they passed without job. Not only Nigerians, so there are so many Pakistani doctors, GP doctors, that on so many platforms they are complaining they've been submitting CVs, and Indian doctors too. On the GP level, there are so many looking for jobs. So what I advise some persons, like you are smart, I don't know, maybe somebody gave you that advice. You can actually acquire your own license by registering under a facility. Just they will get you the license, and so that you will move out of that category of eligibility holders to license holder. Because so many facilities are looking for those with license already, not those with eligibility. So you're very right. You're in Nigeria and you're getting the practical experience of what is happening here directly. So that is it. So for someone like Joseph, when you pass the exams and you're not
Yes, my phone is shut down.
Hello? Okay, I think we can round off. For Joseph, I was trying to advise that
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm listening.
When you pass exams, you can take this route there are so many companies now advertising because they are now using it as a business now in the UAE. I must tell you the truth. Small medical centers and home care companies, they are selling license. What I mean by selling license is when you pass, come to us, just claim that you're working with us. We will not give you any job offer. We will give you a license in our facility name. You will just own the license until you're able to scale through the market. That is what is involved. It will help you to get another job fast than when you just write and say in your CV, exam passer. When you're a license holder, it gives you that speed to getting a job than when you're just an exam passer. So,
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I think doctor's phone is off because he was saying his battery is somehow low. So, thanks for the time. We wish to have another session like this, maybe discuss on other things. It's my way of keeping us abreast with the happenings in the UAE and other places. And so, Madam Everything on God, this is the second time you're logging in. Don't know if you're unable to get us, then you will listen to the recorded either audio or video of our session, because it's like you're having network issues. You're interested, you don't know what we are discussing, take time to listen. We will not recap or start all over again. But I will give you the chance in case you have any question to ask before we end this. Everything on God. Okay, she's out again. She's logged out. I don't know what is bringing about that. So, Joseph, thank you. And Abubakar, thank you. Abubakar, keep encouraging your brothers in the north. We are doing something. UAE is a very good place for you guys that are Muslims. You know that. So, instead of, because you guys are very sensitive, instead of going to places that will be speaking shit man, this place is good for you people very well. So encourage your people to contact us for those who want, or give them our links, Instagram, Facebook, and what again? YouTube. Help us to just subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know because of airtime, so many people, except you are naked in Nigeria, nobody will view your YouTube, or you're making them laugh. They will not view. We that are talking about things like this, so many persons will not want to listen to our videos. But encourage them to do so by just subscribing. I will try to post this on YouTube and see, because maybe 1 or 2 persons will benefit. Mr. Bishop or Mrs. Bishop, how are you? Welcome. I can just cite you.
Yeah, I'm fine, sir. Evening, sir.
Can you hear? You're just coming, and we are ending the session. This is when you're joining us.
Wow, I didn't even know.
Is that so? Anyways, we will post the video so that I don't keep others too long online and waste their... Okay, so you take your time to listen to what we discussed. It will benefit you in case you're deciding to come to the UAE.
It's all right, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, all. We call it a day. We'll meet some other time.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time, sir. I so much appreciate, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.